Welcome to our permanent new home here in the green heart of England land. Oh, yeah.
Can I just say, it's not so much green as inconvenient.
Why is it inconvenient?
Well, Jeremy, how would you like to tell the ladies and gentlemen why you decided to put our tent precisely here?
It is exactly here because this spot is exactly halfway between May's house and Hammond's house. So there is no squabbling over who had the longest commute.
Yes, but your house is just over there. I can see it. Just there.
I haven't got a house. You may remember you blew it up.
Oh, all right, your backup house.
Yeah, your spare house is just there.
Let's not get bogged down with whose house is the nearest.
It's yours. Definitely yours. Is that your cat?
The point is...
Oh, hang on, Jezza, you've got a parcel. No, I can tell there's a man putting one of those I can't be asked to ring the doorbell cards through the letterbox.
Would you like a glass of water, James, and some kale?
Oh, yes, that's what I always have for supper.
Over dinner that night, the mood was dark. I know people who eat this stuff. Do you know what they're called? Women. James May, who filmed the entire series, and as you saw in that sting, the sting itself, and in the montage, and in Switzerland, looking, well, with long hair, looking like a roadie for Steppenwolf. And then he turned up this morning looking like a geography teacher. James, have you ever heard of the concept of continuity?
No, he had to do it. He had to make a change because he had his identity stolen.
I did, actually. That is absolutely true. I did have my identity stolen. Somebody got hold of, personal details, address and date of birth, and they've opened, 8 bank accounts with overdrafts and loans and all that stuff that I'd be liable for.
Yes, but what fascinates me about this is they had a choice. They could have been David Beckham or Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you can look around the world. Anybody. I want to be Barack Obama. Cool, powerful. No, wait a minute. I want to live in Hammersmith and have a folding bicycle so that one day I can walk out of my house and say, look at me, behold, I have become James May. And now I will organise your paper clips if you've got a pie.
Well, the good thing is, James, is we can guarantee this will never happen to you again. Yes, because we have come up with a new name for you.
Yeah. You are now Dingleberry Hand Pump. That is your name, your new identity.
Nobody's going to steal that because nobody's going to go into a mobile phone shop and say, I'd like to set up an account, please. My name is Dingleberry Hand Pump.
Yes.
You're completely safe. It's just that that's now your name.
Do you have a bread roll? I'm starving. I need to eat. I'm so hungry. Yes. Danke, 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 danke. Oh. What are these? It's bloody Ryvita.
Ow! Jesus! Well, we could always go to a museum.
We need to go to a racetrack, Hammond. Look, actually, as we're in Switzerland, Clarkson...
What?
Can you do hill climbs in Switzerland under their laws?
I don't know. I've got a tube up my arse.
But seriously, you've been here before. You're supposedly the motorsport expert, you always say.
I don't know. I've got a tube up my arse.
No, but the thing that they banned was that because in the famous Le Mans crash, cars crashed into each other into the ground, but that can't happen in a hill climb. So would they allow stuff against the clock?
I don't know, because I've got a tube up my arse.
Come on, think, Clarkson.
I think you can do hill climbing in Switzerland, but I don't know for sure, because I've got a tube up my arse.
Right. OK, but that's a start. Let's see if we can find out. Out! Ah!
What's your name?
Giacomo.
Giacomo.
Giacomo is the Italian name.
Giacomo.
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 Whatever. Don't worry, you look exactly like me. I'll tilt that camera down to make you look taller. Be fine with a crash helmet on. Yep. Curly hair, same as me. But you've got to sound like me.
All right.
So, Hammond, you idiot. Say that. Hammond, you idiot.
Hammond, you idiot.
You idiot.
You idiot.
Exactly, because he always is an idiot, so you can always drop that in. It's a useful phrase.
Hammond.
The other one is, this is the fastest car, pause, in the world.
This is fastest car, pause, in the world.
Say it.
This is the fastest car, pause, in the world.
Good morning. Thank you for calling JetBlue. How may I help you?
Oh, good morning. My name's Jeremy Clarkson. You have James May and Richard Hammond booked on this morning's flight from JFK to Buffalo.
Sure. Do you have their confirmation number and/or can you spell the last names for me?
I don't have a confirmation number. What I can tell you is that they've been accidentally booked by the office into business class. That's not company policy for us, so could you drop them back down to economy?
Sure. Let me take a look. Okay. I will make this update in the reservation and we will email you a confirmation. Is there anything else that we can help you with?
No, not for the moment, thanks. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm on form this morning, and I can relax. In fact, the office has provided me with an audio book, which will help me do just that. Here we go.
I knew innately that loosening them meant turning them anti-clockwise, a tiny hairspring that contracted. And
Sadly, it turned out to be a James May talking book on how to mend things.
What I didn't appreciate at the age of 5 was the facility that the freshly wound mainspring had for completing the disassembly process for me, and as a quantum event at that. It was there, off came the back. Suspiciously easily, I would now realise. More screws lay within, and on I went, like one of Carter's archaeologists, unable to resist them.
How did he stay awake to read that out? He's reassembling an alarm clock, and he's made an audio book of it. Oh, God.
Thank you for calling JetBlue. How may I help you?
Yeah, I'm really sorry to trouble you again. It's Jeremy Clarkson here. I spoke earlier about downgrading Mr. May and Mr. Hammond to economy class.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if I could just tell you in confidence, they've both just come out of rehab. So on the flight, could you make sure the attendants don't give them any alcohol?
Oh, thank you for letting us know. I will go into the reservation and make a note of this and get this to our in-flight crew, but we will make sure to accommodate this special request.
Okay, thank you for your understanding. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling.
Calling Virginia.
It's very unusual having business class at the back, isn't it?
Imagine what it's like at the front. Must be sort of like there.
I think it's quite good if you sit at the back in business class, survey the whole aeroplane.
This is an Embraer 190. I can tell you a bit about these, actually.
Rebecca, prepare for departure.
Oh dear, you can't just talking. I think we should celebrate our progress right now as we're moving so well. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Can we have beer? 2 beers, please.
Let me see. So, as it turns out, unfortunately, I won't be able to serve you any beer today. Can I offer you a water, Coke, Sprite?
One more beer.
No, I'm sorry.
Wine? 2 glasses of wine. White wine.
I'm not quite too sure why, but unfortunately, I won't be able to. Can I get you some other beverages?
You know that pink and purple striped rugby shirt thing that I've had for years?
Yeah.
That I always wear. You do?
Yes.
You know the one I mean,
It's a top.
don't you? Yes? Yes.
I know, yeah.
Blue and
Top.
mauve strip. Yeah, it's
Did
a
you
top.
just say top?
Well, it's a top.
It's not a top.
It is not a
Lucy,
shirt. It's not a T-shirt. It's a
Hammond,
top.
I'm sorry, I've never said this before in my entire life, and I promise I'll never say it again, but I'm with James May on this. A man cannot wear a top.
Ordinarily, no, but that is technically it's a hooped top.
Anyway, that's not the point. I was at an event once, and a man sidled up to me, and he took me to one side, and he was from Gant, the big American clothing company that made that thing originally, that shirt. And he's begged me. He said, "Please stop wearing it, please."
Oh, no. May, you've landed?
Yes!
When did you...
Too loud.
Shit.
Where are you?
I'm 130 miles from Buffalo.
He's 130 miles away. Well, you better get a move on then in your 200 and whatever it is mile-an-hour car.
We start with James May, who has been driving a Kia hatchback.
So he gets to drive around the best bits of Europe in a Bugatti, and you get a Kia.
You can shut up, Hammond. Because if you remember rightly, you were supposed to go and drive the Kia hatchback, but you couldn't because you can't drive round corners without crashing.
Were you his stand-in?
Yes.
Has he said thank you?
No, he hasn't, actually.
It's unbelievably selfish, Hammond. You should have done, really.
I'd broken my leg.
Well, don't go on about it. It's all we ever hear. Anyway, right, I've got you, James May. It's a big present, this one. Right, you ready? I've got you a fridge with a motoring flavour, look, because I put a steering wheel on the door. So, OK, it's now shut, yes?
Thank you very much.
Relax, OK? So, look, it won't open, yes?
Right.
but then if you turn this, it's modelled on a submarine door, because it's important with a submarine, you know when the door's open or shut. All the way over, and then it opens. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see.
Well, how brilliant's that?
You've brought me a solution to a problem that only you have. That is the worst Christmas present I've ever had.
It isn't. How can it be? Why
because
is
you
it?
bought something for yourself.
No, you did that last year. You bought your girlfriend a Ferrari that only you were insured to drive. You did. You said, oh, I bought you this. And like, no one else could drive it.
That's chivalry.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, I think that's just been a total disaster, Conversation Street.
It was awful.
He bought us nothing.
Yeah,
I bought you a present. You
Sorry.
see, shut up. Made you presents you don't like.
No.
Giovanni! Morning. I've got dinner tonight in Turin with the Contessa, but I fancy a bit of skiing. So, could you bring the car round? Can you make sure there are no ordinary people near it? I don't want a disease. Okay. Let's do this. It is remarkable that in this day and age I've been able to do this. Just a few hours ago, I was in the south of France, surrounded by people in their carefully designed topless swimsuits. And now I'm on an Alp doing skiing with the others of the jet set.
Are you seriously saying that point to point a car is faster than a helicopter?
Well, it's faster than your helicopter. You start yours with a cord. You do.
But a car is not faster than a helicopter.
OK, then a race, OK? You in your Moulinex Magimix versus me in that Chiron.
No, I can't. I'm not allowed to fly it at the moment.
Why not?
I broke my leg.
Oh, here we go again. God.
It's the Land Rover Discovery. Look at that.
I think the problem is the designer, Jerry McGovern. OK, we've got a picture of him here. And this is his dog. And this is where he lives.
All makes sense.
So it's only natural his car should look like that. It's just all hutched up.
Fire service is now available in your area.
Back in town, Fireman May still hadn't found anything to put out.
Kiosk not on fire. Ice cream shop not on fire. People with shopping not on fire. Are you having a fire? Your last chance to summon the local fire brigade if your mobile phone is ablaze.
James eventually realised that in an unscripted world, he wasn't going to find a fire. So he deployed his acting.
Wait, smoke. It looks as if somebody's bin's caught fire. Not to worry, I can deal with that. My pleasure.
Oh, hello. 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 Yes.
That is speeding things up, isn't it?
Isn't it? There you go.
What it's doing is catching on. The wind moves it along and it gets bigger. It's quite good.
Brilliant.
What, another bit there, look.
Then we told James to come and do his stuff.
Relax, I am coming to put out the fire.
However, because of his leisurely pace, the fire had grown a bit by the time he got there.
Jeez. Pressure.
It's too big! I've run out of water! This isn't gonna work.
I think what we've established here is that he's only capable of putting out fires that he's started himself.
Yeah, that are nearby
Yeah.
and contained.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything left.
Luckily, at this point, the real fire brigade arrived.
Thank you.
And I want to start with the Bentley Continental GT, because that's been around for what, 15 years now?
Yeah, it is.
15 years. Anyway, they've restyled it, given it an all-new look. Here it is.
Wow, that is radical, isn't it? Yes, all they've changed, what?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Anyway, on the inside, they say it has driver-orientated instruments.
What, as opposed to what?
Yeah, no idea. And they say the central command screen is retina quality.
I hope it's not my retina quality. It'll be sort of slightly blurry and a bit bloodshot round the edges. But actually, if you defocus my camera, you can see what it would look like.
Actually, that's better.
Yeah. To be
That's
honest,
better.
I wish I had your retina sitting
I
here
do.
looking at you. It's better.
I do. Let's have a look. Literally the slowest car in the world.
Yeah, but it was chucking it down. Come on.
So you're saying if it had been dry, it would have challenged the Aston Martin Vulcan, though?
Yes,
eh?
it would.
Right, now, we begin with this. You know the fire brigade these days have been issued with those big hydraulic poultry shears.
Yeah, you mean the jaws of life?
What are they called?
Yeah, jaws of life.
Thing is, though, if you give a man a tool like that, he is going to use it all the time, which means whenever the fire brigade now turn up, even the most minor car accident, out they come, they cut the car's roof off.
Yep, they do.
Are there any firemen here? No, because they're too busy out there cutting people's roofs off. They are.
There's loads of them out there. No, it is getting out of hand. There was a story recently. Somebody had a pretty much brand new Range Rover Sport. It had done 400 miles. They had a bit of a shunt. I think we've got a picture of it there. It's broken a headlamp, but that's about it. Fire brigade come along and immediately cut the roof off. There you go. I mean, that's made everything worse, hasn't it?
I can actually beat that, OK? A couple of years ago, there was this woman driving along. There'd been a minor accident. She wasn't involved, but the people who were involved were standing around. She said, do you want to sit down in the back of my car? Fire brigade turn up, cut the roof off her car. Yeah, look.
So that hadn't been in the crash?
They got in through the doors. The fire brigade said, well, we'll cut the roof off, easier to get you out. Oh, I can get through, the doors are working, look.
She was being a good Samaritan, and that's what she got.
Yeah.
Do you know, they actually did this to the police.
Who, the fire brigade?
Yeah, the police turned up at the scene of an accident, a very minor one. The people were unhurt, they got out of the car, but it was raining. They said, would you like to rest in the police car? The fire brigade turned up and cut the roof off the police car.
That's going to escalate.
It is going to escalate. I think what happened later on was the police went in their convertible police car, round to the fire station, and they blew up the fire engine in a controlled explosion, which is
That's where it's going to go. It's going to
I'm
build.
actually quite worried. I curbed the wheel on my car the other day, and I thought, oh, no, I hope the fire brigade didn't see me do that. They'll cut the roof off.
Actually, they wouldn't cut the roof off your car because that's only a Golf. What they like to do is cut the roof off a Porsche.
No, exactly, because that's more exciting. When you go to the pub at night, you've got to cut the roof off a Porsche tonight. It's better than I cut the roof off a Golf or a Hyundai.
Yeah, it's a
isn't
better
it?
story.
Exactly. They should take a lesson from the Queen. She's been the Queen now for, what, 65 years? Now, she has the constitutional right and power...
Really, this is actually their display team.
This bit better go in, because that's going to be... I'll editable, that is. It's the work, actually, of the man with the best name in the motor industry, the second best name. Man with the best name is Lamborghini's chief test driver. He's called Max Venturi.
Yeah.
He's never had sex.
No. He's young and good-looking as well.
Yes, I know. Anyway, the guy at Aston, their technical officer, is called Max Swedge.
What?
Max Swedge.
Swedge.
No,
That's what I said.
It isn't. No, it's...
You sound like a broken dentist drill.
You're just being racist.
I'm not.
You are. The man's Irish.
I'm not being racist.
You are, just because you want him to be called Paddy O'Malley.
I didn't say you
He's
can't.
good.
You
He's called
being
Max
racist on television.
Anyway, we'll gloss over your...
I'm not. That is...
Weirdly, not much less than the V12, actually. But I think that the V8 will be better because the engine will be lighter.
Yeah. So what you're saying, in fact, is smaller is better.
No. Not that this is much of an issue for someone who's driving a Jag. Yes, Constable. However, if I could draw your attention to the first page of my passport here. Her Britannic Majesty, that's the Queen, requests and requires, in the name of Her Majesty, all those whom it may concern to allow the bearer, that's me, to pass freely without let or hindrance.
Finally, it was my turn, and I was going to need as much runway and as much streamlining as possible. For good reason.
Right, now we're alone, viewers. I'm going to admit to you that my car has gone into limp home mode, which is not ideal for this sort of thing.
In 3, 2, 1.
He's moving. I mean, just barely, but...
50. 60.
He's still accelerating.
70. 75. 80 miles an hour. 90. Oh my God.
Having completed the 0 to 100 and back to 0 test, we got back on the road.
Well, all credit to James's XK8. He's come out of it unharmed, and the car pretty much, too.
If anything, the engine seems to have become even smoother, almost as if it's gained 50% more cylinders. But that's the thing about Jags, they just get better.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I, meanwhile, headed for the restaurant. It's definitely corked. Sorry. James therefore went shopping Jag style. And I didn't. Ah, welcome to the hotel, sir. I could take your coat.
Thank you very much.
Had a pleasant trip?
Yes,
Lovely.
thank you.
Your hat?
Oh, thank you.
That's your bag as well, sir. Thank you very much. If you'd like to go and see my colleague on reception, that would be marvellous.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, that's my warm weather gear sorted out. I actually nicked that idea from Peter Sellers. I don't think he'll mind, because, of course, he had a Jag. Exactly where we wanted them to be. And that's where they are, and that's good. Anyway, the thing is that we got here, well, there, without a single problem, and with a very definite conclusion. Buy an XJR.
Whoa, no, hang on. The whole point of this exercise was to demonstrate Jaguar's reliability as a make.
Yes, but we have, and we've also...
What? Oh. They call it the drift stick.
Ooh, they ought to call it the love handle.
Yeah. But the point is, what it does, it overrides the ABS, and you can actually perform proper handbrake turns in that.
Girls are going to say, if you pull that, that was ridiculous and you frightened me. What they actually mean is, I'm hot.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, admit it. You're impressed by a handbrake turn, aren't you?
Just thought of it. If you say
Yeah, you-
no, that's just part of it.
You've never been in a car with someone who's about handbrake turn?
Oh, hello.
Are you together?
What are you doing, man? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? How did you...
You drove here today, huge fields everywhere, and you didn't think, oh, just give it some of that. What? On the way out, just mind the sheep. Bentley has announced a new version of the big 4x4, the Bentayga, OK?
Yeah.
Which they say is for shooting enthusiasts. We've got a picture here, look, it's got this kind of chest in the back, which has, you know, space for your guns and refreshments and so on. However, I know that whoever designed that has never been shooting in their lives.
How do you know?
Well, because if we examine the refreshments that have been photographed here, you will find that they have fitted it with rose lemonade and elderflower juice. Now, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to have to say this, but has anyone here been shooting ever? Yeah, you have. As you will know, a shooting day is an armed drinks party. There's no place for shit like that.
You turn up with elderflower juice at a shoot, and the host will shoot you. What?
Middle Eastern
Oh,
market?
she might have a point with that.
Could be.
Oh, don't come here with your bloody sensible, rational views.
No, actually, it's funny you should mention the Middle Eastern market, because they've also done one for fly fishing, which happens in the Yemen.
Yeah.
And gets better. And falconry. And falconry's really big in the Middle East.
What about dogging?
What about dogging?
Oh, why don't they do one for dogging? It's a countryside pursuit, and more people do that than do falconry, don't they?
Well, you're probably right. But
Well, they should.
Well, what would you have in a dogging Bentayga?
Oh, that's good work. It's very neat. It's neatly done.
It is neatly done. Now, Vice Admiral Mike Shoemaker, obviously from the US Navy, is not happy about this. He says, immature acts of a sexual nature have no place in naval aviation. Well, I'm sorry, but the plane they were flying when they did that is called the F-18 Growler. If the US Navy is going to call its plane a Growler, they can't really complain when the pilots go and make pictures like that in the sky, can they?
No, and to be clear, if you're American and you don't know why we're laughing, it's the same as US troops in Iraq laughed when British soldiers were being transported around in what we call a snatch Land Rover.
You are going to make that meeting. This is the key to your success. What?
Sorry, think of it as a business opportunity. Car-to-car window replacement.
Oh, brilliant.
Hold steady, finger extending again. I've got it. Oh, cocking Nora.
Yeah, we are pumping gas. Oh, yeah.
It works! Oh, shit!
What's happened?
Hammond, right, you're on fire! Bail out!
Oh, no.
James, you bloody idiot! I'm not stopped. I just carry on.
Look at that, it's like being refueled by Spider-Man.
The genius of this is we've made the petrol pump attendant mobile rather than the petrol pump itself. It's much cheaper, it's safer.
Right, that chap's pretty much exhausted his supply. Time to send the second man. OK, Hammond, pull up for acrobat number 2, please. Righto.
Oh.
News from my hometown, Doncaster. OK? Anyone from Doncaster? Are you actually from Doncaster? You'll like this. It's actually news from Doncaster, OK? The council has decided to risk it, OK? And they asked the people of Doncaster to vote on a name for it. There are 2 new sort of snowplough road gritter things, yes? OK? Would you like to hear some of the suggestions people have come up with?
Yes, please, Jeremy, we would.
Here we go. Grit Van Dyke. True Grit. Rule Britannia.
I like that.
Salt Disney.
Oh, that's all I got.
These are the names they've chosen, OK? One of them is going to be called Gritsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Anti-Slip Machine. The other one, though, is going to be called David Plowy.
That doesn't work.
Well, I think they were hoping we'd think it was David Plowy, but it isn't. It's David Plowy. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, as in snowplow. No.
Well, that would work in Birmingham, wouldn't it?
I'll get the snowplow out.
Snowplow out,
No,
yeah.
all right, we'll
Give
call
me
it
the
David Plowy, then. The marvellous thing is, the council, OK, they said this vote cheered the whole of Britain up.
Well, it hasn't cheered me up.
No, it isn't. And the man from the council said it's got people interested in gritting.
Well, it just hasn't.
No, it hasn't. We would be interested in gritting, though, if we'd thought of a name.
Yeah, well, we'd just call it Gary Gritter, wouldn't we? Let's be honest.
Or maybe Ice-ish. That could work.
Yeah. Gary Gritter or Ice-ish. Do we think those are better names? Oh, hang on. Adolf Grittler.
Perfect. Those are better
That's
names.
a good one.
We like that.
Where's my bloody car? Has anyone... Can anyone see an Aston Martin anywhere? Hello? Hammond? I found a car here. It's a Toyota. And they're dogging. They really are, actually. That's quite embarrassing. Yeah, they're driving away now because they realise. Hello, sorry, panel. Nothing to see here. Right, James, look out. There are cows followed by Hitler. Oh, no, it's not Hitler, it's Winston Churchill. The cow has attacked the Aston Martin. Don't do that. Go and attack the Honda. Listen, Hammond, pay attention.
Oh, God.
I did some research on this. You know the top speed of a pigeon, if it really puts its foot down, is 90. In level flight, 90 miles an hour. I know.
Now, that is amazing, Hammond, because you wouldn't think a pigeon's wings could shift enough air.
No, I wouldn't think about it.
No, stop it. You say that. A hummingbird can fly faster than a goose.
Can it?
No, it's like that.
Nobody cares.
They do.
Stop ranking birds.
What?
Rank. Did you build all this?
Yes.
Can I just ask?
What?
What is the current speed record for amphibious vehicles?
39.1 miles an hour.
Well, isn't this rather overkill?
Listen, Usain Bolt can run at 27 miles an hour on land, OK? If he were waist deep in water, he'd have a top speed of about 1. Water's really sticky. You need loads of power.
I've got a word in my head for all this, and it's impractical.
I've got a word.
That's
It's
the one.
shut up.
All right.
We're going.
Is it loud?
Very. That's fired up. That's going to drive air into the big engine. We've got to get those in the green.
I hate it when you've got buttons.
I can't hear anything. Ignited. Oh. I'm going to give it some thrust now. It's going to go up to 100% power.
You are a witness dodo.
Look at it!
On the upside, there is an upside here. If it's capable of doing that, imagine how fast we're going to go on the lake.
You're a cretin.
Yes.
None of this is based on any scientific reasoning whatsoever. You say it's got a lot of power. How much thrust has it got? A lot. Look what it's done. It's blown 2 aeroplanes over and given us a massive bill.
We're going to do this by seeing which one of us can get the most amount of dogs in the boot of our car. Hammond, you idiot.
What?
What are they?
If you say dog in Canada, these are what you get. Newfoundlands.
Hammond, they're enormous.
They're not dogs. They're cattle.
Yeah.
They're having sex
There's
behind
dog
you.
sex. There's actual dog sex going on. Dog sex.
Maybe we should look away
don't need
from
to
that.
see this. In a brief break from the mating, we got on with the test. Up we go. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Up in the car. Well, it's a new Range Rover. Come on, dog.
Right. There's... No.
Up we go. In we go.
The dog has never been in a car and doesn't want to go in one.
Right. Sit. Getting another dog.
Dog beer.
Ow. Yes. Stay.
The Alfa Romeo, not only the sportiest vehicle, but as you can see, perfectly capable of handling a brace of dogs. Oh. Yeah, the problem is, you know electric tailgates?
If they sense anything, they'll open.
Yes, that's what's... So you can't actually close.
It's not going to stay in, is it? Oh! Biggest dog here is in.
Yes, but you try closing... OK, then close your boot lid. Go on, then. You see, it won't close because it's electric. What we've established, then, so far, is that these cars are nowhere near as fast as an ordinary car around a racetrack, that you cannot put a medium-sized dog in them because of the electric tailgate, and you'll damage them because they've all got painted rear ends and carpeted boot floors.
And that concludes another important test. I'm sorry.
It's reading the white lines in the road and then simply sticking between them. And if I want to change lanes, I don't have to bother with any of that mirror signal manoeuvre nonsense. You just put the indicator on. And if it's safe to pull out, it does. Put the indicator on to pull back into the central lane and... That's just astonishing. All of this means that I can drive along writing important messages on my sketch pad. Because I know that if the car in front slows down, I'll slow down. If it speeds up, I'll speed up. If the traffic stops, I'll stop.
I think the battery is a good analogy for libel law and reviews generally, in that you have to it has to be balanced. You must have the positive and you must have the negative. Should we bear that in mind?
No, what we should bear in mind is that, what I've just written on the screen. I'm 57. No! Listen, you've come second. You're taking it badly, I think. It doesn't matter, because an even more interesting race is developing out on the water as we speak.
Handling is affected by water ingress. It's getting closer to my kneecaps. Oh, Canadian flag, come on!
Will he make it to the finish point before he sinks?
That's got some tension in it, hasn't
I
it?
know. There's no tension here. This is done.
Oh, yeah, this is
But we'll give you more.
You two! Help! Come and rescue! I'm going down!
My boat's smashed to pieces, James. I can't help you with that.
My boat's... Look, it'll take me ages. It's all the way over there.
It's going down!
I'd have to move mine out of the way.
Yeah. And then I'd have to walk up there, along those rocks.
It's gone! Oh, Jesus! Ah! It's so cold!
Look, he's going...
Ah! You bastard!
Have you ever seen...
Ah! My testicles have retreated!
We don't need to know that! Oh, no! Oh,
Oh,
that hurt about me just watching?
Hey, I've got a runny
Yeah.
nose.
Oh, my bit's just shriveled.
He's not going to do it.
Bollocks.
Oh! Oh! Jesus Christ! It's been an accident!
Row the boat, you idle sods!
Hold on, James. This is how they do it here.
No, that's the wrong way. We're going to go the other way.
Oh, shit, I'm on the wrong side, aren't I, if I use that?
Turning. Oh, f***ing hell. As Hammond and I were struggling to get into a rhythm.
Oh, no, hang on.
No, you got it.
Oh, the oars come out. Oh.
And as it turned out, the Indian Ocean wasn't that deep. Where has all the sea gone? We decided to push the boat instead. Any minute now, we're going to start fishing.
Right, I think this might actually be working. If they can just get themselves back to here, we've got two ends of a net, pull it in, full of fish.
Ugh! Shit! I've caught myself in the net!
So, water is just
No, don't
water.
do.
Oh, God. What do you... I don't particularly want to see you, just to be absolutely clear.
Why?
Well, I got here at 4 a.m, wet, with consumption, smelling like a damp dog, tried to sleep in the car, and what did I hear?
No idea.
Snoring. Your car snoring. That bloody generator thing, it's like someone's snoring, but without the pauses in the breath.
The generator is necessary to keep my fish fresh. Where's your water gone?
On my head. Anyway, we've got to make more water. This is water. I was just about to explain that is normal water, which we're all familiar with. You drink it. Seawater is salty. We all know that as well.
I know, I
It's
brought
not-
you some salt.
It's not that sort of salt. That doesn't
It is.
work. No, it isn't. That's
It's salt.
table salt. Exactly. Sea salt has extra minerals in that doesn't. That's been refined. This is sea salt. So we have to work out, I'll show you, normal water, needle at the bottom. Okay, we have to mix enough salt to put the needle on there, right at the top of the scale.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that's 25 litres.
Well, hold on, no, but if you're doing 25 litres at a time...
I'm doing 25 litres to work out how much salt to put in.
We're going
Work
to be
out
here
the
all
proportion.
morning.
No, we're not.
We are, because you've got to fill your entire tank
So
up.
what do you think I should do?
Why are you so angry with me? I've come to help.
You haven't come to help.
I
I
haven't,
could have
Vic.
almost done it by now.
brought
You're
you-
just standing there being fatuous and bringing a thing of salt from a seaside cafe from the 1950s in Morecambe. Bugger off. Please.
Get on with it.
Go away. Right, so, we know
Oh,
that...
don't talk, just get on with it. Shit.
Bollocks. Stop it. Shit. Oh, here we go again. Yep. Nope. Yep.
Do you know, James, it's actually possible to get bored with watching Hammond fall off a motorcycle.
Oh, bollocks.
This made James very unpleased.
You bastards! I hate you! Both of you! You utter bastards!
Listen, I am prepared to tow your boot full of water. That's important. I'm not going to tow a dead engine that's full of water as well. That's just a waste of fuel.
Rubbish, it wasn't dead. I could have mended that once we dragged it out. It's just ignition. I've done it 5 times already. You complete moron.
I hope you get Bill Hartsier of the ball sack.
Right, that's it. He's asked for it.
Funny, very funny.
Funny man.
I think you're following him too closely.
Why don't you sod off?
Has it affected the handling?
What was that? Are you ready? This will get them running over here. You watch. Oh, look at that. hundreds and hundreds of delicious fishes. Diesel-infused kippers. James, however, was not so happy about the condition of his fish. And for some reason, he blamed me.
All that messing around and dragging around, you killed them. Those were all alive this morning. All of them are dead.
How do you know all of them are?
Because they're floating. That's what fish do. I've kept those alive for 3 days, you muppet. I mean, it doesn't matter because they're still fresh. Because you did this, you dragged it along, bouncing it around too much and not thinking about the fish, and you finished them off.